Okay, the next part of the app, what I want is there's 2 pages. The one you see in front of you there, and that one. Just 2 pages. That's all there is to it. So as you can see, there is 15 blue boxes this time, and each of these boxes has a name above it. Streets, 18 #2, 12 boxes, 12 #3, 1 to 9. Up the top here, instead of having sort number, it'll have alerts. And what I want, that page there where it saves and reloads, I want that pushed out to. So this here will become page 5, and then the next one there will become page 6. So this here also has the 5 names, but they're going across the top. So it's all these different names here. And all it has here is these are the results in correct order of when they come out, but I'll explain that in a minute. So that's how it looks. So first thing is we have 5 different alerts, and they all have a number to the side here from 1 to 12. Some of them are 1 to 18, 1 to 18, 1 to 12, 1 to 12, 1 to 9, but they all do the same thing. So I'll just get us back to here. Now what happens, I'll just use these ones as an example, which are the same as that one, but this is how it goes. Whenever a number is put in, the computer will search these numbers here. In any of these groups, it will search these numbers. And let's just say it was number 15, it was this number here. Well, what it does is it deletes that whole line, gets rid of all that there, and then it remakes the list minus that one we had before. Because these numbers down the side are the name of the list, and these are what's in the list. So list 1 has a 1, 2 and a 3, list 2 has a 4, 5 and 6. So the next number that comes out might be an 18. So now what happens? It finds that line, it deletes them. Now if it finds a number that's already been out, it doesn't have to do anything because it's done. But it keeps looking for these numbers, and once it finds them, it deletes that line. So what will happen is you'll get to a point where after all this deleting's happened, you'll be down to just 1. You'll be down to one left. And that's the first part finished. Now what we do is we get these, and this one here is called the streets. So we would go over to the app, and now we look for the streets. So you have to look for the correct name, and it goes into here. So what that was these numbers here, that 2 and these numbers there, they get put into here. So where that 12 is, it will say 2, and those numbers, the 4, 5 and 6, they would go down here where those 3 numbers are. So that's the very first thing that happens. And then this box here, as soon as these come in here, on the very next input, this here will start counting. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and just keep counting until one of these 3 numbers comes out. When one of these 3 numbers here, the 34, the 35 or the 36, but not the 12, if one of those come out, then you stop. It stops. It's finished. And then you'd go back, and that's all finished. And then it would repopulate again, so you've got all the numbers back again, and you start again on the next spin. You start looking for numbers, then delete, and do exactly what we just done. So that's all that happens. Right, so you've got the number in, you found the last street, you've got the count. Now what happens is we go on to the next page. So if, for example, on spin number 5, one of these numbers come out, you go to the next page, you look for the streets, which is here, and you put the number 5 there. And then next time you do this, and you get to find another street, and they come out on, say, the first spin, you put the number there, a 1 there, and you keep going all the way down. That's all it does. It just keeps putting it in there. Now, when you first get this number, whatever this number here is, the spin count, you will add 1 to it. So I want to know about spin number 6. So these ones here will go, this bottom number will go into the other here. It will count up how many results there are. Once we know how many results there are, it puts it there, 12. So each new result will be 13 and 14, so it puts that there. That top one, since that says 5 spins, we're looking for the 6th spin. It's always one number higher. This one here will go into that list. Look for streets, and it'll look for all the number 6s in here. However many 6s you have, it'll go back and it will put it in there. So there were 6 and 12 spins. And so that happens for every single spin. On spin number 7, you actually go up one number, so you're looking for 8s. So you'd go in there, looking for all the 8s in this row here, only this row, and you'd go back and put how many were in there. Where that 4 is, how many were in there. If there was none, you put a 0, and you count up how many results there were, and they go into there. And that's all there is to it. Once you have got one of those 3 numbers, the whole thing stops. You get that number there, you put it into the other page, this one here. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. And then you start again. Start it all over again. And that's all there is to that. The only other thing is, this would become page 5. This one would become page 6. And when you save and delete, that's page 7. Now on this page, you see there's a button here that says order. When I click that button, all these rows will reorder the numbers from number 1 all the way up to the highest number in a row. But they stay in their own columns. They don't interfere with the other columns. But every single column would change. So you have number 1, however many ones from smallest to highest. Then when I click it again, it'll go back to how it normally is, how it was normally inputted. And then there's the names of those things. So this box here counts how many times this result here has been out, the amount of times. But what I want to do is, before this happens, before we get to this point and there's only one street left, I want this box here to count how many streets. So there are 12 streets all up. I want this box to have a total of the 12 streets, and each time one street is deleted, it'll say 11 streets, and when another one's deleted, it'll say 10 streets, all the way down to number 2. And then once you have number 2 and that last street there finally comes out, then it stops and it reverts back to this here. Then as you do this one here, you're counting how many times the last street has been out, and then when it finally comes out, this stops, and then this box here turns orange, and it starts counting back for the whole 12 streets and counts them down as each street comes out. Now that thing's to happen for each of these individual other alerts. So this one here, there'll be 18. It'll start from 18, and as each time one of these comes out, it goes to 17 all the way down to number 2. This one starts at 12. There are 12 boxes. Each time a box comes out, you get the idea. This is for every single one. So it goes orange when it's counting the streets, the 12 streets down to 2. Then it goes back to blue like it is now when there's just that one street left.